first question will be posed by Ho Chang, and the second question will be posed by Ms. Blanton. Mr. Chang.
Ms. Barg, transportation is a major concern for Northern Virginians, yet road projects languish sometimes for decades. If you were elected, what are the top 3 transportation projects you would push for, and how would you assure us that they would be funded and built?
Thank you. The first thing I would do would be lock up the trust fund. The second thing I would do would get our fair share back in Northern Virginia of the funds we send to Richmond. Third thing I would do, I would get the delegation together, the entire Northern Virginia delegation together, and I'd say, let's sit at a table. There are 3 issues we can talk about that are not partisan. Transportation is the number 1 thing that we can sit at a table. No, it has no party line. Let's come up with, let's discuss and prioritize the projects that will get Northern Virginia moving. And then at that same table, before we leave, I would say, let's discuss funding. There are many ways to get, not many ways, but there are ways of getting transportation funding. One of the first things that I would do would look to get the outlet from the outlet pond to Newington. That would get rid of a bottleneck. The second bottleneck that we have is south of Quantico. With the traffic coming up from Static, that bottleneck's right at Quantico. And you know what I would do? I would look for federal defense funds. I would look for homeland security funds. I would look for BRAC funds. Those funds should be available. After all, 95 is an evacuation route for Washington, D.C. I would go to our congressman. We need to work with them. We need to push for these federal funds. After all, if Congress can build a bridge to nowhere in Alaska, surely Congress can help us find some funds to get Northern Virginia moving.
Please. Transportation is a major concern for Northern Virginians, yet road projects languish, sometimes for decades. If you were elected, what are the top 3 transportation projects you would push for, and how would you assure us that they would be funded and built?
Well, first, I thought it was projects. First, let me say that I think that no matter how much we tax you, no matter how much money we spend on transportation, and we do need to spend more money, we need to prioritize the money. It's your money, you want to spend on transportation, and Richmond hasn't gotten that yet. The last 2 years, I've sponsored legislation to lock up the Transportation Trust Fund. That's a good start. In fact, Governor Warner is talking about pulling more money out of the Transportation Trust Fund in 2006. But we need to do that. But I think before we start talking about all the transportation projects and all the way the money that we're going to spend on that, we're never ever going to solve our transportation problems until we get this growth issue under control. No matter how much we build, we cannot ever keep up with the private sector. They have every incentive in the world to build things better, faster, and cheaper. They're putting up homes at a faster rate because they get paid faster that way. And until we lock down the growth or manage it better, we can't stop it. We need to make sure that we have it managed and it's responsible, that we have the infrastructure in place, like the roads and the schools and the public safety infrastructure. We're never going to get it done. And one of the ways I think that we can do that is to ban contributions from developers to the local board of supervisors. My opponent's taken over $100,000 just in the last 6 months in campaign contributions from builders and developers. And she's the #1 voter from the board of supervisors. But what I would do if we can get growth under control, I think that we need to widen Route 1. We need to revitalize Route 1. That was one of her campaign promises in 1987 when she first ran for supervisor. And I think everybody in Woodbridge would agree that Route 1 is not any better now than it was 20 years ago. In fact, it's probably a lot worse. I think that we need to creatively use Interstate 95. I mean, to do things like bus rapid transit. You know, when I was born in Fairfax, I remember when I was a kid, my dad commuting up 95 to the Treasury Department during rush hour in the hub lanes. And there's always been traffic during rush hour in 95. Not on the weekends, not in off hours. And certainly the secondary roads weren't clogged either. It never took at half an hour to go a mile to the grocery store on a Saturday afternoon, and that's how it is today. I think we need to use creative use of bus rapid transit and other creative ideas, and my time's up.
Thank you. Ms. Blanton. You have the next question. Is our clock working okay? All right with the clock.
Now, Frederick, school districts receive additional funding to implement programs to assist students with special education needs. Students who are economically disadvantaged or whose English as a second language falls outside of special education. Yet these larger subgroups also have special educational needs. What should the General Assembly do to assist special needs groups falling outside the current special education designation?
Well, when I ran 2 years ago, I made, as I talked about earlier, I made some promises, and I promised to work on, to focus on real issues like transportation and education and taxes, and that's what I've done. I don't know what priorities my opponent's talking about, but those are the things that I've done since I was elected. But one thing that I made a particular promise is to make education my #1 priority, and I did that. I requested by the Speaker to get on the House Education Committee. When I got on that committee, I learned that I need to learn a lot, that I need to hear from the people in the trenches, the teachers, the administrators. And so I formed an education advisory committee of teachers and administrators in my district. I'm the only one in the state to have done that, the only legislator in the state. And through that education advisory committee, I've learned a lot. One of the things I've learned is ESL is one of our largest challenges. You specifically mentioned ESL. And the fact that we have all these students, who many of them are very bright in math and sciences, but they just haven't comprehended the language, we need to, I think, we need to have a different approach with them. Trying to teach them English at the same time as learning other core subjects in the English language isn't going to work. We need to have immersion. We need to teach them English and then let them move on. At the same time, while we're teaching them math also, we need to provide opportunities for them that if they would otherwise not meet the SOL requirements, such as in the English language because they can't write or they can't have the correct grammar or spelling, then we need to provide opportunities for them. I know as an employer in a small business, in a small technology business, but I don't always need someone who is the most fluent English speaker in the world. In fact, many technology professionals aren't. But if we can provide them with an opportunity to have maybe an ESOL diploma, or there's all kinds of different ideas out there where we can certify that they have a core education and all the core subjects, but they have a little bit of difficulty in English, which any employer would be able to see anyway. I think that's an opportunity we can have. We need to dedicate the resources, and we need to do education differently. Doing education the same way we've done it is obviously not working for all kids, and we need to find creative ways to deal with it.
Thank you. Ms. Barg.
Would you repeat the question?
Yes. School districts receive additional funding to implement programs to assist students with special education needs. Students who are economically disadvantaged or whom English is a second language fall outside this special education needs. And yet these large subgroups also have special educational needs. What should the General Assembly do to assist special needs groups falling outside this current special education designation?
The first thing we need to do is make sure that we are providing the resources for our special needs children. Second thing we need to do, I've talked to a lot of teachers and principals lately. They have a very hard time attracting teachers to work with children with special needs. We need to have better pay for our teachers. We need to make sure that we offer a pay that is comparable to the national pay scale or above for our teachers, because it's hard to get teachers into the field of special education for special learning. And on the other hand, we have the bright children who have special needs. So we need to provide the resources for them. So that is my answer, that we must evaluate, find out what the needs are in the school. And then we need to go after resources and provide them. I do believe we have the money. I think it's just prioritizing and how we spend resources.